You don't matter. Your life doesn't matter. Nobody really seems to matter. If the statement bothers you, I don't see why it should, because you never cared before in the first place. Now, I'm not saying you don't matter. You're saying you don't matter. I'm just reflecting the message you send out into the world and onto other people back right to you. You might not say it verbally, but the proof is in the demonstration of your actions. The universal language. Do you believe a promise made, or do you believe a promise kept? For most of us, life in a nutshell kind of goes like this. We live, we work, we pay taxes, then we die. And it's interspersed with these empty voids, only broken up by the mundane grind of everyday life. Yeah, it's a bleak, depressing outlook for someone who cares. And, well, you don't care. Not really, anyway. Something inside us lets us know that life could be better and should be better. I hear the complaints every day. I read them all the time online. I hear from friends and relatives. And when we're not saying it out loud, we still feel it in our bodies. We get tired. Our bodies ache. Our minds can race day and night from stress. But where does this urge to complain really come from? I think it's a couple of reasons, and not just a vent, but really, we just have this need for the right person to hear what we have to say, hoping that someone else can fix the problem. But what about complaining if there's no real desire for improvement or self-improvement? That's just whining. That's like saying, I don't feel like doing this, But aside from that, the kind of complaints that I'm thinking of, the ones that actually have to do with real problems that need solutions, we all sense those problems. We all feel the damage that's caused by what's going left untreated. And yet, interestingly, when we get to that point where we start to recognize something, that's where we start to split off and go our separate ways. You see, there are people like you who stick to their assigned roles and play their part in the system. And then there are people like me, who I call the watchdogs, who step back, observing the rigged game in the system and questioning everything about it and what we're just doing here. And then we try to wake others up, trying to share everything that we know, everything that we find. And sometimes you and I will get a little fooled, thinking that you're about to care about something, when I start to hear a complaint that we both share. We're noticing something isn't right. But then what do? You resign. You withdraw. You quietly go back into the routine of things day after day. Because who cares? Well, you don't. And if you don't, who else should? Besides, we've got more pressing matters to get into. We have distractions. People live vicariously through shows, movies, and video games to ignore the mundane. And they fill the void, trying to pursue relationships in all the wrong reasons, hoping that someone else will give them meaning that they didn't have on their own. Or maybe they fill the void by seeking the next adrenaline rush, or turning to unhealthy drug, alcohol, or porn addictions. Meanwhile, we've seen the sports fanatics. I mean, these people, they're mesmerized. They forget about everything that's around them as they watch different types of athletes play with different kinds of balls. They're watching what other people do with balls. They throw balls, they kick balls, they dribble balls. They all will just study these stats and place huge hard-earned money betting on whether a team will go as far as they think they will. And then you have these cosplayers, right? I mean, they're dressed up as their characters, some of them looking exactly like their characters. They've got their cotton candy and their circus shows. That's life to them. Their distractions are life, living through fiction, living through someone else's experience. So now I'm convinced that if that's you, that you don't care. You don't believe you matter. You don't believe other people matter. The elites don't believe any of us matter. The elites have you right where they want you. See, I can enjoy entertainment, but see, you're at the point now where it's more important to live through fiction and through someone else's career than to live your own life and go through your very real situations. We're in a world that's far more complex and a lot more strange than most fiction that's out there. I mean, right now, there's an increase of sky anomalies. There's a number of scientists and a general? I think it's a general who are disappearing or found suiciding themselves after they telling everybody that they're not suicidal. There's government corruption. There's people divided all over the place. There's creepy billionaires and trafficked children, biblical prophecies being fulfilled, and wars and rumors of wars, all whittling down to what affects us directly what we're earning, how much things cost, whether we can feed ourselves and our families, whether we can take care of our health or not. Oh, but these important things, they're getting too serious for you. You need to go back into living in the real world, watching anime characters fight for an hour per episode. You need to be hypnotized by a console's graphics. You have to watch that next episode of the new season that you just can't miss out on. You have to watch more people playing with balls. You have to maintain your high vibration. It's an incredible irony that the people lost in fiction, the people lost in entertainment, they both look to the watchdogs as the people who needs a life, while they're just all about distractions and retreating from their problems. I mean, would you read a story about someone who just ignores all of their problems and just keeps going back to distractions? It's like, here's a build-up. Oh, I'm going to just sit down on a couch and just watch something all day. I'm not going to stand up for myself. I'm not going to stand up for what I believe in. And those of us who focus on our spirits and eternity, we're supposed to believe, and we're almost really conditioned to believe that we're the ones without a life here. We're the ones that are facing life head on. We're trying to share what we know and wake everyone up, to leave your coping mechanisms, to face our challenges directly. I appreciate entertainment myself, especially when life settles down. But I don't replace reality with those distractions. I just know that they're kind of something on the side to just pass the time a little bit, especially when there's nothing going on. But if we want a better world, we can't just have it handed to us. It doesn't work that way. We have to earn it. Evil doesn't rest, and neither do the watchdogs. It takes due diligence to get somewhere. That's the same thing with everything in life. If you want a big career, if you want a lot of money, you have to really work hard to get the chance to even achieve what you want. Now, you don't have to do the watchdog thing and take up your free time doing what I'm doing here. You have to at least just keep it in mind as the world goes on around you, that there are things out there that's directly influencing all of our lives. And just because some of you might be doing okay right now doesn't mean that the general public is. And we still have to think about the others. And if you just refuse to care and pay attention, then you've got some nerve to be complaining at all. And how dare you blame anyone else for what's going on? Because at the end of the day, it's not just a president, it's not a Donald Trump, it's not Republicans, it's not Democrats entirely. It's you. It's people like you, because you don't care. And when you don't care, you don't get to have a say. You don't get to act like you know what you're talking about. And I'll have more respect for those who don't get involved with what's going on, but they also don't complain about external influences. They just kind of accept the system and take the blue pill and go on their way. But so many of you will pretend that you care, pretend that you know, pretend that you want things better as you resign and go back to your fiction. When you don't care for yourself, you don't care for others, and the world becomes the product of what you neglected. And generations after are going to feel the burden of the debts accrued by your carelessness, leaving them in a world worse than what you started with. Don't go blaming the boomers and other past generations for their sins when you lack the self-awareness that you're doing the exact same thing as other people from the very beginning. Do you know the major differences between elites and you? They're the opposite of you. To save time, I might talk about it later, and you can choose to listen. Or you can go back to your entertainment. You can continue paying your monthly subscriptions for the advertisements, for the products that you're going to purchase from those advertisements. Continue being the good consumer that you are. We might share timelines here, but we're not the same. See, I'm a prisoner here, plotting the escape. You are a slave. Nice to meet you.